Here we have set 31109 pirate ship containing 1,260 pieces and retailing for $120 back in 2020. The set itself is still available on lego.com, but if you want to take a look at the prices on Bricklink, the average price new is going to be $126 and the average price used is going to be $96. For minifigures, we get 4 minifigures total, and going from left to right, we have a pirate captain here on the left, we have a pirate with a black triangle hat, a pirate with a red bandana, and a skeleton as well. Removing their headpieces, we can get a better view of their faces. And turning our minifigures around, we can see that all of our pirates have back torso printing, but only one of our minifigures has an alternate face. So here we have 2 side builds as well as an accessory that doesn't have a specific position that you need to put it in. So starting off with the accessory, it is a chest that is filled with some jewels in there as well as some gold studs to give it the illusion that there is treasure in there. So that's pretty cool. Makes sense for a pirate ship. We also have this brick built bird here, and I'm not too big of a fan of this just because for one, it's out of scale, and 2, there's not really much details in brick built animals that are this small, so I don't tend to enjoy animals of that size. Now the shark is a little bit of a different story. While it is a brick built animal and I would prefer molds over this, there is some stuff that brick built animals possess that molds do not, such as the ability to have some articulation in them. So this one, you can move its mouth left to right or open and close it with the mixer joints. The fins on the front you can move as well, so you can pose them in any way you would like as well. So you can even have them do this, which it's pretty funny to me. And then you also have the back fin as well, so you can move that back and forth. Now I do like the build for this shark. It is a good build, but I also tend to prefer molds a lot more. But again, one thing that this one has over the other is that this one has articulation, which is very nice. So here we have the pirate ship, which is a little bit too big for my setup, but we're going to take a look at it in sections and get a closer look at those details. So starting with the color scheme, we have brown as the main color with red, gold, and yellow being accent colors. There is green in here as well, but I'm not too big of a fan of it. I just don't think it fits within the set overall. Back here we have a rotor back here that's used to navigate the ship. We have some windows here which are very nice. I like the way that the kind of windows come out a little bit and then go back in. It gives it a nice little effect there. I also like the way they did the hole. All these smooth pieces give it a nice little texture in this area, because they're not all one consistent piece. The use of studs here is very nice as well. I'm not a big fan of this plate here sticking out, along with this like blue down here as well. I think it sticks out too much. I feel like trying to use brown here to try to cover this up at least a little bit, and then using these blue pieces as black pieces instead would have been a lot better in terms of the grand scheme of things, but it's not too big of a deal. We also get some cannon holes here, so you can open this one up and you see a cannon on the other side. There is only 2 cannons in this set though, so all of the cannon holes are not occupied. You have to move the cannons from each hole manually. You also have the plank here, so you can send other pirates or skeletons for that matter off of here. More on this side, we have another window right here, more of the whole, some details for the kind of fencing around the ship as well. At the very front, you get this brick built mermaid, which is very nice. I'm actually a fan of that as well. You got the flag up here, and then moving to the other side is pretty much more of the same, except on this side we have the anchor. We have more of the hole down here, the window up here, which is on the other side. More cannon holes on here, so you can see this one is occupied, but this one isn't. As again, no plank, but you only need 1 under the ship, so that's fine. And then back here we have the windows again and more of the hole, and then in the back you have the rotor down here, of course, and then some of the cool detailing in the very back of the ship as well, along with some lanterns up here for some lighting in the back. Next, we're going to be taking a look at the sails as well as the upper structure of the ship. So the sails are brick built, and I think they look good from the front, but as always, if you turn the ship around, you can see that there is the anti-studs on the back, and that's kind of where my problem lies. But that problem can be avoided as long as you look at the ship from the front. But another issue that I have with these sails overall is that they tend to get clunky. So up here, it's not really that big of an issue, but down here you can see that they start getting very wide, and you know, it's the same with this area as well. So that is kind of one of the issues I have with the sails, is they tend to get clunky, and you know, from the back they don't look as well either. Same thing with a piece like this. Now it has anti-studs on the other side, but it looks perfectly fine from this side. So again, a lot of issues there. I'm a big fan of these though. The way that they're stabilizing the kind of mass part of the ship is pretty cool. I'm kind of, you know, mixed feelings about these over here. I feel like these two would have just been fine and they would have sufficed with that. These they just seem out of place in my opinion. I'm fine with these, you know, flags at the top, cool as well. This is pretty cool here too, so you can sit a minifigure up there as a lookout, so that's nice. But overall, again, the same issues that I have with brick build sails is that they don't look as good from the back, and then they tend to be very clunky as well. So now we're going to get into the interior slash deck portion of the ship. So starting with the back here, you can see that there is a wheel for the captain to navigate the ship. You also have some stairs there in the back that lead you to the actual portion of the ship up here. There is no floor in there, which sucks. I feel like they could have easily included something that just kind of sits on there and you can remove. So that's kind of a missed opportunity in my opinion. As you can see, if I turn the boat slightly this way, you can see there is a doorway back there. And in order to gain access to that, it is very simple. All you have to do is move this to the side and you can lift this up, and you can also open up the sides here. So you can do that for this side, and if I turn the ship around this way, you can do the same thing for this side right here. So in here is the captain's quarters. So let me set this down. Let me pick this up here and you can get a better look in there. So there's the main doorway back there. And then inside you have a seat and then a table with a map on it for the captain's quarters. So there's not much going on in there. It is still pretty cool though, seeing that there is some level of interior in there for the actual captain. One of the downsides though of this is that you can't really flatten this top area here. It's always at an angle because of the way it's built, and that's just kind of a shame because I feel like it could be flat. And one of the ways that they could have gone by doing this is just lifting this straight up with just a couple of studs to hold it in place, or just have it sit there too. It wouldn't really have budged too much if it was just sitting there. Now from there, like I said earlier, there is this area down here where we have some cannons and cannonballs. So you can of course shoot these cannons out. It is a little bit harder because you have to pull this piece back and just let it go to shoot it. So it's not really a viable way of shooting that, but you do get some extra ammunition. There's a barrel in here. If I can, let me get a better angle there. There is a barrel in there. There's some ammunition, and then there is holders for the cannons if you want to move them to a different area. And if I turn this ship around, it's going to be the same thing on the other side here. So again, another holder right there where I have that barrel, and then there is the other cannon that you can shoot in there. One of the bad things about this area though, I don't know if this was intended, if they didn't test this out, but you can't really fit a minifigure properly in here in terms of the height. So what I mean by that, for example, is taking this minifigure with the red bandana, I put him in there, and you can see that his head is coming over this plate. So he actually doesn't fit down there properly. If you actually wanted him to stand there, you'd have to do it like this, where he's leaning, or sit him down, but trying to get your fingers in there is very difficult. So again, I don't know if that's something that they failed to test or if it's on purpose, but there's not enough height in the bottom of the ship to actually fit a minifigure down there and doing certain activities. So that is a shame. I feel like, again, that is another missed opportunity there, but it is what it is. Now moving on a little bit to the rest of the ship, there's not much going on or not much left. So up here is just a kind of walking area. You can barely fit a minifigure down here, depending on the head accessory that they have. They might not fit in this area height wise. I don't like that there's not some type of way or anything like that of trying to get up here like a ladder or anything like that. I feel like that just makes the realism a little bit less. I know it's Lego, but you know, that usually tends to add a certain level of detail. I'm just going to move that piece to the side because it keeps falling and it is quite annoying to put back on. But the final thing on the ship really is going to be up here, and it's just the anchor. So you can just twist this and the anchor slowly comes out, and there is, you know, a maximum amount the anchor can come out there. But you do have an anchor and it does work, which is nice. And you can just twist this and pull it right back in, which is a very nice feature. So again, here's everything in set 31109 pirate ship containing 1,260 pieces and currently retailing for $120 at the Lego store. Now, of course, the question is this set worth the $120 at this point in time? The answer, I think, is going to be not entirely. Starting with the minifigures, I feel like there is a lack of minifigures. You get 3 pirates and 1 skeleton, but I don't really count the skeleton towards being an actual good minifigure. It's more of just kind of like a throwaway figure. They could have definitely included at least 2 more pirates. I feel like that makes more sense for a ship, right? It is a pirate ship, so it needs to be manned by a crew. So 3 people for an actual crew is not really enough. It doesn't really make sense, but at the same time, I feel like 3 people to a crew is not going to be enough to actually fill the spaces within the ship itself. So again, a lack of minifigures is a shame. You also get some side builds. So you have the bird. I'm not too big a fan of the bird. The shark, however, I think the shark has grown on me a little bit. So I do actually enjoy the shark some more. The chest obviously makes sense. They are pirates. They're going to have some level of treasure. Then there's the ship itself. The biggest issues I'm having with the ship, the sails, while I do have some issues with them, I think they're perfectly fine. I don't really mind those as much. The bigger issues, however, are in the actual space for the ship. First, the interior where the cannons are. There is no ability to actually put a minifigure down there and actually, you know, have them fit properly. On top of that, the space above it is empty. You can't even put a minifigure above that space because there's nothing covering that, no type of grate or anything like that, that would give it more of an effect of, you know, a pirate ship. So there's no way to actually display minifigures a little bit better than that, and I feel like that's kind of one of the reasons that they didn't include as many minifigures too, is because you can't really display as many minifigures, which is a shame. So at the moment, I don't currently think that this is worth the $120. I think 100 would have been more fair for what we have here. If they would have included, you know, those extra 2 minifigures, covered that little hole in there where the cannons are, and also if they would have elevated the actual upper part of the ship a little bit more so you can actually fit minifigures down there while they're standing, then I feel like that at that point it would have been worth the $120. But because that's not the case, I feel like this is more in the $100 ballpark, which makes it more fair to me. Now that's going to conclude my review of set 31109 pirate ship. Again, if you enjoyed the content, consider liking the video. And if you are enjoying the content and are not subscribed, consider subscribing. It is completely free and helps me out in the long run. Now, as always, I will see you guys in my next video.